Hey folks, today is February 25th, 2026, and I don't know if you remember or not, if you were with the channel at all last year, but I mentioned last year that I want to do more growing in the garden for donation. The local library has a side-by-side fridge and freezer that I think I can use for dropping off produce. I did a little bit of that last year, and as last year progressed, I found out that I had more space than I necessarily needed for my food needs. And I thought about that last year, that this year that we're in now, I could use some of that space for the food pantry. And today I want to get that going, so let me show you what I'm thinking. Now for myself, I am going to try doing fava beans again, but this is not going to be for the food pantry. These failed last year between months 2 and 3. So I'm going to try them again because I had a little bit of success a couple of years ago, and we had a really wet spring last year, and I think that caused some root issues. But I'm going to try that again today. I'm going to put these in the ground. But what I wanted to show you here for the food pantry, I've got carrot seeds. Those are my Danvers 126. These are my beets, Chioggia, and turnips. Purple top white globe. I grew turnips last year for the first time. I actually really enjoyed them. It was a fall crop for me, and I'm still eating from those now. Well, heck, I'm still eating the beets and the carrots as well. But yeah, they did pretty well. So let me show you in the garden where I'm thinking these are going to go. Pretty windy right now, so hopefully I can get the camera to pick up my voice. If not, I'll do a bit of a voiceover. But one reason I wanted to get these things in now was because we're going to be coming into warmer temperatures. Not significantly warm, but warmer than we have had. And tonight, overnight, and into tomorrow, we're going to get probably forecasted an inch of rain, and I kind of want to take advantage of that. Now, additionally, getting these things started now, it gives them get them in the ground today. If they germinate by mid-March, these are all going to be direct sown. If they germinate by mid-March, hopefully by mid-May, most are all ready to come out. And if at that point, summer crops can go in, because we're well past our last frost date by then, and we should be good to go. So this is the northeast corner of the garden. I've got 48 beds in here like this, and I think this is beds 33, 34, 35. It's kind of I think I have 3 rows of 16 beds, so that's kind of how I think about these. But what I'm thinking is these first 3 on the northeast side I can go ahead and dedicate to the pantry in the form of maybe, carrots, beets, turnips, or some variation of that, and I'll just get all of these direct sown. What I'll do is I will drill for the carrots probably 3 lines in here, sprinkle the seeds in, backfill them, water them in, call that. If these are turnips or beets, I'll probably kind of dibble out with my hori, something like that, 3 holes. Drop a couple of seeds in each of that, backfill them, let the rain take over for that, and do the same thing next door here. And yeah, like I said, if they can germinate by mid-March, and they don't get attacked by anything like birds coming in to feed off of them, we might have a pretty good haul for the food pantry by mid-May. It's going to be fun trying to sprinkle seeds in there with the wind blowing the way it is, but we'll see how that works out. I'm not too worried about how the beet seeds go in, because they're nice and they're big seeds, big flower clusters. I can sprinkle the carrots easily enough because my hand can get low to the soil, but the turnips, those are brassicas, tiny little BBs. Those are going to be a little bit harder to carefully pop into each of those holes that I'm going to have, but we're going to try it anyway. So let's get busy. My 2 favorite planting tools, my hori. I use this when I want to direct sow into holes because I'll just wiggle it around, good to go. And this little hand hoe, I've got a full length hoe, but it broke, so I take this guy, and when I want to drill lines, I put the corner in and I just drag and I inch back and do that over and over again. Inefficient, yes, but it gets the job done, and yeah, I work with what I've got. Now we're going to start with the carrots on the easternmost bed because I don't have an irrigation system here, so for me to keep them damp, it's going to be easier for me to drag a hose outside the fence. I can't really bring it all the way in because I don't have the hose length for it, and I don't want to drag it through my beds, and I can spray through the fence into this first bed a lot easier than these other 2. So yeah, that's what we'll do. And we've got 3 trenches Ready for some seeds for the carrots. Now this is a semi-finished homemade compost, so there was still a lot of intact leaves that clumped together. They just didn't break down through the process that fast. I'm not that worried about them kind of impeding the carrots germination. I probably should be more worried about that than I am, but I'm still gonna roll with what I've got because it's what I've got. And with carrots, I'm not a great carrot grower, but I will say that what I have learned over the past few years is moisture is everything. When that potting mix or that soil dries out before germination and in the early stages of germination, that's when you run into the biggest problem. I think, obviously you don't want it to flood and take your seeds away either, but ultimately, if they stay damp, you have a better shot. So yeah, just light sprinkling throughout, and now we're gonna cover them up, tap them down, and get them watered in a little bit. Yeah, I'll probably just spray the bed through the fence with the hose. And that's how I sow carrots. Now all I gotta do is spray the bed with water. You're gonna notice that I smooth the material over and then I give it a good solid patting down. Not worried about that over firming anything. That material is loose as can be. It's not going to be a compacting issue. Now, would I say do the same thing if you were in a really heavy clay? Probably not, but this is everything on top of a heavy clay. So that material is just really just loose and loamy and compost. So it's not gonna be an issue with compaction. Problem is, it is going to have a tendency to dry out a bit, especially when the sun bakes it and winds come through the way they do. So again, like I said earlier, with carrots, with most crops in general, but carrots especially when they're trying to get going, moisture really does seem to be everything in the early stages. So if you're actually growing carrots and you're struggling to actually get a bed filled, get out twice a day, hit it with some water. If you can get yourself like a floating row cover, something that can let water through, but may limit the amount of evaporation out, think about covering your bed with that after you've got your carrot seed sown. Dragging the hose out, and for a moment, it feels like the wind is not blowing west to east. So when I fire the hose into that bed, it's not going to be blowing back onto me for the moment. But we get swirling winds here, so very quickly I'll probably wind up getting pretty damp myself. It appears that I misjudged the length of my hose in getting it up here, so we're going to have to change the strategy a bit. Okay, so for watering, I think I'm going to be doing watering cans, at least for this first round. Like I said, tonight, overnight, and tomorrow we're going to get some rain, so that should help. But for now, I'm going to get these next two beds sown, and yeah, I'll feel good about this. I'll feel better about it if they actually germinate, because I hate to commit to camera that I'm trying to do something good, grow for somebody else, and then get 3 beds of failure. So yeah, if you're watching this, please do me a solid and keep your fingers really tightly crossed that these beds perform well, because I don't know, I could use some good karma. Okay folks, we are seeded and watered in. We've got carrots, beets, turnips, really 3 rows of each. Drilled lines for that, and just put little holes in the soil for that. Dropped a couple seeds in each one, closed them, watered them, and now good vibes for germination. So in the coming weeks and months, we're going to see how they do. Next update for that will probably be sometime around the end of March when we do the next garden tour. They'll just be an organic part of it. I may do a separate video on it as well. I think I'm going to call this sort of a, I don't know, Food Pantry Diaries episode 1. I have nothing more clever than that to give it. If you have a better name, let me know below and I'll rename the video at that time. I hope you enjoyed it today. If you have any questions, please feel free to post below. Until the next one, thanks for watching. Take care.